Did the SEC just fumble their case against Ripple? Hello and welcome back. There have been some very curious developments over the last couple of hours, and this continues to happen right now within the case between the SEC and Ripple. We are here to talk specifically about Ripple and XRP and their ongoing case with the SEC, because that has taken a very, very strange turn, which continues to play out right now as we speak. And this might spell an unlikely end to the ongoing litigation warfare that we've seen between the SEC and Ripple. Take a look at this. So, SEC fumbles Ripple appeal, missing crucial filing deadline. The SEC has missed an important deadline. The securities regulator had 2 weeks to file its appeal after its notice on October the 7th. The securities regulator had 2 weeks to file its appeal after its notice on October the 2nd. This was, of course, their appeal against the High Court ruling that Ripple was not in fact offering securities by selling XRP on exchanges. This fumble could cost SEC the Ripple lawsuit. In a surprising misstep, the SEC appears to have missed the deadline to file its appeal, failing to specify its objections to Judge Annalisa Torres's August the 7th ruling. After submitting its notice of appeal on October the 2nd, the SEC had a 14-day window to file the requisite Forms C and D by October the 16th. I'm trying to figure out if we got the time frame wrong, but I can't see any flaw in the logic. The C was due today and it is not showing up on the docket. If it wasn't filed, the appeal will be dismissed. It's not entirely as simple as this. There is some confusion between whether or not the deadline was actually the 16th, which has now passed, of course, or Friday, October the 18th. The SEC had initially filed its notice of appeal on October the 2nd, 2024, but the case wasn't officially entered into the system until October the 4th, which would give them until October the 18th to file, because that would be 14 days after October the 4th. Pro-crypto lawyer Jeremy Hogan, that is the guy tweeting that we just looked at, pointed out that these different dates left room for doubt about whether the SEC ought to submit Form C on October the 16th, or if the agency could extend it until October the 18th. Now, there is a speculation here, as pointed out by Ripple CTO David Schwartz, that the SEC deliberately missed their filing date in order to end the appeal. It is not impossible that they deliberately blew a filing deadline to end their appeal, but that does seem like a really bizarre move. There's also some speculation as to what the exact effect of a missed deadline would be. Technically speaking, it means that the case would have to be thrown out, or that is that the appeal would have to be thrown out, but as pointed out by another pro-XRP lawyer, Fred Rispoli, courts give a lot of leeway to federal agencies. Even a lame excuse from the government is likely enough to allow the court to let it slide. But if you or I were a day late on filing this freaking form, our case is over. Mark Fagel, who is a former SEC director in San Francisco, suggested that the regulator might indeed have messed up, as this notice refers to the acknowledgement where the court can override the 14-day deadline, not Form C, which seems inflexible. And quote his tweet here, "This is referring to the acknowledgement where the court may override the 14 days from notice due date, not the Form C, which seems inflexible." So maybe the SEC did mess up. So this is a really, really interesting situation and a fascinating twist in the tale of litigation warfare between the SEC and Ripple. To me, it seems unlikely that the SEC made a mistake in this instance, but it seems equally unlikely that they would walk away from the case in such a way as this. Either way, we should have resolution on this in just a couple of hours, as even if the appeal was officially submitted or docketed on the 4th of October, that would give them just until the 18th to file Form C, just a few hours away. And we will see a result on that very, very soon. Now, we know that if this appeal does go through and the subsequent cross appeal from Ripple, this could be fought out in the courts until as late as 2026. But there is another interesting twist in the tale, which is, of course, Mr. Donald Trump, now at a 61.7% chance of winning the presidential election in just 19 days' time. Donald Trump vowed to fire SEC Chair Gary Gensler. Of course, we recently, earlier this month, saw the resignation of the SEC director initially behind the Ripple and Binance cases. That was Wall, resigned as a surprise on October the 2nd. We also saw earlier this month the SEC commissioner confessing essentially that they had been wrong on crypto regulation or enforcement of crypto regulation this whole time, and that had been a, quote, disaster for the whole industry. So this fumble or potential fumble in the Ripple case could just be the next of the dominoes to fall in the changing story between the SEC and its war on crypto. And that has, as always, far-reaching implications for the industry as a whole, not just for Ripple, not just for XRP. But Ripple continues to make moves despite all of this going on. recently announced RLUSD, their stablecoin, with, ironically enough, an extreme focus on regulation, transparency, and compliance. Also, XRP just got listed on MoonPay. Of course, that means it can be bought and sold directly with fiat currencies with methods like Apple Pay, Google Pay, etc., etc. We are also seeing developments on the institutional appetite side. So we've got Bitwise revising its XRP ETF filing, basically enhancing custody and trading structures. And we've also seen Grayscale making moves to convert their digital large cap fund, the GDLC, into an ETF. Now this includes XRP, and this would allow institutional investors proxy exposure to assets like XRP. So whether or not this fumble actually spells the end of the battle between the SEC and Ripple remains to be seen, but we will find out very, very shortly if they have in fact missed their deadline, and whether or not that means that the appeal case will be thrown out. As always, just my take, just my opinion. Nothing I say should be considered financial advice, but thank you so much for watching. Plenty more to come. Catch you in the next one. Bye.